Pimp my team round 19. I'll tell you what, this is the precursor to one of the biggest weeks in fantasy coming up next week. This is an important one to set yourself up right, but round 20 is going to be the biggest week of your season. Round 19, you just got to make sure you don't mess it up. That's the big thing here. So, Pimp my team. Let's get right into it. Let's start getting through some of these teams. Guys, drop a little message as well. If you're here today, let me know who's around. I'm going to get right into these teams. I'm happy to go back to certain ones too as we go along if we need to. Sup, Riley? Good to see you, mate. How's it going? How's it going? We'll get to your team soon. Kaden, good to see you, mate. All right, perfect timing because your team's up first. So you had to be here. All right, let's just zoom this in a little bit. Make it a bit bigger. Bit bigger. All right, cool. I think that's a good spot to be. Okay, so Kaden, let's get into it first, bro. Actually, I'm just going to say hey to everyone. Yo, hi, fire. No worries on the birthday. All good. Pimp my team even though I have no trades. And yo, how's it going? All right, let's get right into this here. So Kaden's team up first. All right, let's see. A lot of green dots. I'm liking this. I'm liking it a lot. Dave Peter, captain, I'm a big fan of. White and Galvin, Aitken, Iro. Okay, we got one spot, the wing fullback area. In terms of the rest of the side here, okay, we got a hooker and a half to spare too. You probably don't need those guys as much. It's tough because you can't move any of those centers down. One trade left. Okay, I think this is a really good week for you to consolidate for next week. So if I'm looking at this team, I'm thinking, hey, this is a really strong bench. You got a lot of really talented players here. Nico Hines is obviously a guy who's going to need to go for you. It's 8 weeks for him minimum. So he's done and dusted, right? So what I would be doing is I would be thinking, hey, how do I free up cash for next week? And how do I make sure I can get massive upgrades next week and make sure I'm buying players who are going to set me up for the run home? Because round 19 is 1 week, and then round 20 to 27 is 8 weeks. So that's far more important. So for this team, my first thought here is that, look, Cole is going to need to go. Hines is going to need to go. It's probably going to be Nico Hines out, is my view. And I would bring in, you need a wing fullback. So I would bring in one of two options, and you can choose between these two. Either you go with Jai Gray as that first option. So he is the fullback for South Sydney. Latrell Mitchell's out for 4 weeks, maybe more. He's at 330K, which at a price is close to a cash out, but not quite there. Or you go full-blown cash out and you get Tungo from Parramatta if you think Parramatta are going to play all right. These are both attractive options. I'm actually buying both of these guys this week because I need 2 wing fullbacks. So I like both of them. If I was going to steer you into one, let's see, you don't have any wing fullbacks except for Drinkwater on the bench. You got Campbell and Blaze. You probably don't need a full-blown keeper necessarily. I think you're all clean on that, but Blaze will be out next week. I'd probably steer you towards Jai Gray. That's my view there. But if you want to go full-blown cash out, Tungo is the option too. Other than that, you can do a bit of a loophole here as well, potentially. Simkin Hands. It's a bit tough. You could loophole Hands into Whiten, for example. So you make Whiten your top bench guy, because I think Souths play first game of the round, and then you make Hands the starter. And if Whiten goes well, you then move Hughes into the team, and it would mean you get Whiten as an auto emergency. So I would do that loophole as well. If you've got, that's what you're going to do, awesome, man. You're all over it. You're all over it. But yeah, if you have any questions on the loophole, just DM me. We've got the section on Discord for you guys who are upgraded, and we can go through that in more detail. So you're looking good, man. You're looking really solid. I think you have a big rise in the ranks this week as well, because your team looks very, very solid. Just say hey. Sup, Scotty? Good to see you, bro. Charlene, how's it going? 2 trades left is pretty good right now. And sup, Monty? Good to see you. Awesome. Let's keep rolling through here. So Titans winning the Premiership 2024. It's going to be tough when they lose to Parramatta this week for them to win the Premiership. But hey, anyone's got a shot. So again, green dots. Hands at hooker is a bit of a problem. Forward pack looks good. Yep, you're all clean here. Dave Peter as captain is a great option. White and Galvin, Aitken, Iro, Marzu, Sharp, Keeney. Okay, you're all clean. So you got a starting 13. You don't need to do too much with this bench. You could sell weeks if you wanted to sell weeks. It's not a desperate requirement. Okay, so you got one trade going through here too. Nickel Clockstad for Madison. And that looks good. Nakora and Feeder are locked in. So you need a middle forward. I think Madison's the guy for you, right? So he averages 55 points when he plays edge back row. That's 55 points across 75 minutes when he starts in the edge back row spot. So for me, Madison's a good option there. He's probably not going to average 55, right? He never sort of keeps that up, but I think for this week, it's a great option. Just keep in mind that round 20 is going to be a little tricky with Parramatta players and Sharks players on a bye. So you're going to have, Hands, Madison, Nakora, Iro, potentially a few other guys here, Moses as well, out for that game. But you do get 8 new trades, so you can make some upgrades and you're all clean. I'll just quickly reply to Oko. Good to see you, bro. Big shout out to everyone. And then, Starboy, awesome. Good to see you, man. We'll get to your team soon as well. If you haven't posted your team yet, by the way, I'm actually just working out of the chat here. So if you haven't posted yet, just drop it into the chat in the Pick My Team section. So you'll have that once you're upgraded, and I can go through it here as well. Next team we got here, and let's just zoom this in a little, is we have Akatsuki. Okay. Akatsuki, EXO, Green Dots, Cookie, good option. Cartwright, bit of a problem there for you. So Cartwright on the bench is a little tricky this week. Then Moses is captain. Obviously, he's not playing because of Origin, so just keep that in mind. We go through to White and Iro, Penasini, Keeney. Okay, Kohler, bit of a problem as well. Keeney and Campbell, man. Whenever I see your team and I see Keeney and Campbell, I just think, you are high on life right now. This is that's a great pairing to have. And the rest of the bench is really strong. I'm probably not selling too many of these guys. Weeks is a guy that needs to go at some point for you. Then 1 trade left, 126K. Okay. Again, what I'm thinking here is we really just want to consolidate, right? So if I'm you, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, all right, the half spot is a bit tricky. The wing fullback spot is a bit tricky. And edge back row for Cartwright, but I would hold him for 1 more week because you've got him playing this week. So Cartwright and also Monty, I'll just answer that too. Nakora as well. These guys are both holds this week. See what happens next week. So Cartwright's on the bench. You got to leave the green dot in. So what you need to do is you need to target a half to fill in for Moses or a wing fullback to fill in for Kohler. In terms of who you sell, Kohler's a really easy one to sell. He's done and dusted for the year. Weeks you could sell, but Kohler's more done than Weeks. So I'd probably target Kohler as my sell option. And the rest of these guys are guys you're happy to keep for a while. So my easy play for you here, and it covers actually both the half and the wing fullback spot, is to go Kohler out. And there's 3 options you can look at here. The cheapest option you can look at here is Tungo. So pure cash out. We don't know what he's going to score. But he's up against the Titans this week. He plays on the wing at Parramatta. They usually score a few tries on the wings at Parramatta. So he's a guy who could pop off for a decent score. Does have a buy in round 20. So that's the first option, Tungo at 234K. Second option is Jai Gray. He's got that fullback spot at South Sydney. I expect him to score about 40 a week. So you could look at him. And the third option you could look at here is Kohler out for Trindle. So Trindle averages 49 points playing without Hines. So he's a pseudo keeper. And I think your team is a bit light on, let's see actually, because the bench is really solid. But I think you could use a few more of those full-blown keepers because you're probably going to be selling Kohler, maybe Cartwright, you keep White, and you could look at getting one of these 3 guys. So they're your options. 1, Trindle. 2, Jai Gray. 3, Tungo. My mind changes on this all the time, by the way. So it's a bit tricky, but I probably would be leaning towards Jai Gray. Just I think he'll score well, and I think he's got that dual position for you, and South Sydney are a pretty good spot. I think Latrell is going to be out for more than 4 weeks as well. That's my view there. I'll answer some questions here now too. So do you get more trades to use next week or after? I believe it's next week. I have to double check the rules, but I believe it's next week that you get those extra trades. Is Nakora hold? So yep, hold this week. Plath to half, get a middle. You could do that as well. It's an option, but I don't know, which middle would you want to get, right? Like a guy like Nathan Brown is there, but he's not super reliable long-term. I think Jai Gray is close enough. He's not a full-blown keeper, but he's a guy who you could rely on for a while as a bench option. So I'd probably be steering towards him instead, or a full-blown cash out. And then Olakau'atu. This is actually a good shout, but the money isn't there for Olakau'atu. So if you were trading Kohler out, you're not going to have the cash to get Olakau'atu, which means we'd have to sell someone else. And we could sell Weeks for Olakau'atu. That's an option. I actually don't mind that as well. But you've already got Hudson Young here. Nakora. All right, yeah. I don't know. You could definitely do it. That's an option too. So you can go Weeks to Olakau'atu, sell Kohler next week. I don't mind that either. If you're a big Olakau'atu fan, then that's a good option too. Should I trade Dom Young? I'd probably hold him, but I think there's bigger problems that you would have, I would expect. But Longy, my team's in shambles, but I'd like more of a head-to-head fight because I'm a cash league. Yep, we can do that as well when you get to your team. Just remind me when we get there as well, but I'll try to remember that. Who's a good trade for Hines? 134k in the bank. I would be going down to cheaper players and using the money next week. That's my advice there. So stick to some of those cheapies. Kola to Isaac Tungo in round 20. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, straight swap. Tungo's going to be good when Cleary comes back, so I like that a lot. And Tommy Grojevic is a good trade for weeks. I'm not a big Turbo fan. He had that 1 year where he averaged like 90 points, but in general, he's not a massive fantasy scorer, so I would be skipping Turbo myself. All right, so a few options there for you, Akatsu. Hopefully one of those lands. And then next up, we got Aframe. So for Aframe, let's see, a lot of green dots. Looking good. Kai Pierce-Paul is a hold this week, by the way, guys, just in case you're looking at that. Fletcher Sharp is a hold this week as well. He's got the start too. So if they're starting and they've got green dots, you stick with them for a bit longer. That's the key, right? So what I'll be looking at here is actually one thing I want to note, Simpkin. There's a bit of a tricky situation with Simpkin where Lachlan Croker is apparently back at training and looking good. So Simpkin's minutes might not last long term, but he is someone who he should score well this week. I'll just answer a couple of these questions here too before we keep going through. So challenge for Madison. I like that trade. Madison's a good option. Any other wings you could suggest? For this week, I'm going cheap, right? So it's Jai Gray and it's Tungo from Parramatta. They're the two that I would target. And how do you feature on Pimp My Team? I'll just get that here as well. So invites. Let's grab the link now, actually. So I'll pop you the link there. If you go to Welcome Newbies section, you can see how to feature there. So link is in the chat there. If you want to jump into Discord, that's how you get into Pimp My Team. So you jump in the Discord. Then if you become a supporter, you become someone who features in Pimp My Team, which is pretty awesome. So I do want to thank these guys as well for jumping into that too. Where's Jahu at? He's probably playing video games or doing something, riding a motorbike. I don't know. He's always somewhere different, Jahu. So can't always get him online. But yeah, a lot of green dots here. So look, your bench, let's have a look at this. Okay, you've got guys you could sell if you wanted to. Is there any problem in this starting side? I'm pretty happy with your starting team. Do you have any trades left? You got 3 trades left. You got 13 million value. I mean, if I'm you, I'm probably just sitting on trades right now, right? So there's one option you could look at here, and you could do a little loophole sort of deal here. So you could trade out Cola and buy Tungo, for example, buy Jai Gray, one of these players. That way you're freeing up some cash and you just use one trade. You can then do a loophole with those players and see if they score well and bring them in if they score well, that sort of thing, right? So that's one thing I'd look at doing, but you don't have to do it this week. But with Jai Gray, he's got a low break even, so I think it's a good move to do this week. I had some more questions here as well before we keep going through. Who's a good center? I keep hammering Tungo, but 234k looks like he has pretty good job security at Parramatta. Covers wing fullback and center as well. So he's the option. Next week, I would buy the other Tungo, Isaac Tungo, because he's at a great price as well. So they're my targets. I'm not spending up big on center, by the way. If you don't have gun centers already, I wouldn't spend huge money there. Kohler and Hines for Oppa and Jaden Campbell. Good trades. Very good trades. I really like these. Then Longy, since I have no trades, just feel free to diss my team. Yes, you're next. So I'm just going to roast it. We'll do roast my team. I was actually thinking about that as a content series, roast my team. Yeah. What do you guys think of that, actually? Let me know what you think, because that could be like an Instagram, TikTok sort of series where it's like roast my team and I'll blast everyone's teams and be pretty mean about it. So let me know if you like that. I'll do that if you guys are keen on it. Then Aframe, I think cash down Hines and Kohler to Gray and Geimer. Yeah, mate, great. I like these moves. The one challenge there is that, round 20 buys are going to be a little bit tricky for you. So just make sure your numbers for round 20 are okay. Have a look at who has a buy that week. So if you just go into the NRL app and just go to fixtures for round 20, you can see who's got buys. But just keep that in mind. Otherwise, I do like those trades. Best cheapy buy for this week. Any position has the most upside for the future as well. I would be targeting the bottom price guys. Again, Tungo, Geimer. Geimer's starting lock. I really like Geimer on the edge back row spot. Other option there is you go Jai Gray at that price as well. They're the 3 that I think are really good. Calder Gray and Weeks to Jake Tungo. If it leaves me with 0 trades. Yeah, these are good trades. You bring up tons of cash for next week. That's the key there. So you'll be able to get proper guns next week. I was meant to have a no trade week until Hines, Mitchell, Kohler. Oh, Aussie Frosty, mate, you've had a tough time. You had a tough time. That's pretty brutal. Yeah. Yours is the first. All right, Riley is the first roast of my team. I like it. If I don't need to make any trades this week, is there still anyone should keep getting ASAP? I think freeing up cash is important. So those cheapies I'm talking about, yeah, I would definitely roast you for this. By the way, that's disgusting. That's gross. You should have sold him 2 months ago. Although he keeps on scoring well, so we'll get to you soon, Sheep. Then we'll get to you soon, and then Hines to Gray. I like that as well. Yeah, look, they're both good options. Okay, keep rolling through here. So Riley's team next. And I just want to say he's signed up, by the way. He's willingly signed up for Roast My Team. So if you want to roast it as well in the comments, go ahead. Let's see this team. All right, first things first. What an embarrassment. 0 trades left. That's gross. That's disgusting. Riley, mate, come on. Let's look at this bench. Sean Bloor, Isaac Tungo. Mate, oh, this is getting worse and worse. Where are your keepers? Let's look at the starting team at least. Oh, God, that middle forward rotation. King, Fanua Blake, Kohler. Oh, 10 players. 10 players, and one of them is Hands. What are you doing here? Oh, this is brutal. Okay. This might be the lowest scoring team of the crew. Sorry, Riley, but the upside is that next week we're going to have a lot to talk about when you get those 8 trades. For right now, though, it's a disaster. Look, Fafita captain is fine. That's kind of like pissing on a fire. Like you're trying to put it out, but you're doing your best. That's all I'm going to say here. All right, rolling through the only Ducky, and before we get to him, I'll just quickly answer some of these. So who we got? Smash a like. Yes, good call. Hit that like button. Love it. And make sure you're subscribed as well. We do tons of fantasy content. How many trades do you have, Longy, and how many are you using? So I have 2 trades left. I need to use both of them this week. So I'm going to use them. I'm going to bank a bunch of money in the bank. Like I'm going to have like 800K in the bank. And I want to use all my money next week to buy guys like Harry Grant, Payne Haas, Isaiah Yeo, Connor Watson, Nathan Cleary, all these types very quickly in round 20. Should I trade Wishart for Fafita? Wishart, you don't have to rush out, but I would go get Fafita 100%. If Wishart's the way to do it, then go and do it. Sup Monty, and then thoughts on these trades: Nat Butcher to McInnes and Sam Hughes to Jai Gray, Sorensen to Ola. They're good trades. Yeah, they're really good trades. I like those a lot. I still have Salmon and Piakura. Well, you're captaining Piakura this week. I dare you to do it. I dare you. Longy, I have 6 players this week. I'm cooked. You are beyond cooked. You're crispy fried, mate. You're done. It's over. It's finished. Riley, no, don't cry. Don't worry. Next week we'll fix it all up. You'll be sweet. Ollie, what's good? And then Geimer, Tungo, or Gray, who has the most upside. Gray has the most upside, but Geimer and Tungo are basically base price. So it's just up to you. I'd probably target, depending on what I needed. I'm probably targeting Tungo and Gray myself, but I don't need edge back rowers. And then should I be bringing in Tungo and Gray if I already have Sharp and Hands? No, I think you're fine because you're going to be selling Hands pretty soon. You might sell Sharp soon as well. So I think you're fine with making those trades. All right, only Ducky. Let's go to your team. So what do we got here? Got a pretty good roster. Hands at hooker is kind of gross, but it's all right. Nico Hines in the halves. Oh, Kohler. You've suffered from the same things I have, basically. Sorry, I've led you astray. And then the bench here, I do like a lot of these players. So there's not really anyone here I'm going to sell. Maybe Sean Bloor. You could sell Sean Bloor if you needed to. Let's go back to the trades first. Oh, no trades left. Okay, so Kohler to Gray is the trade that you're looking at here. I like it. It's a good trade. Covers you for half and wing fullback, so you're clean. Gets you to 12 players. I have 12 players this week as well. I think that's absolutely fine. Yeah, good trades. You're clean. Feeder as captain is good. The one thing I would say is make your vice captain someone who plays in the first game of the round, just so you have a bit more flexibility. But other than that, you're all clean. So good moves. I'll answer these questions here too before we get to yours, Starboy. So who are your top 4 buys for next week? I really like Connor Watson next week because he doesn't play big minutes in Origin, so he'll back up well. I don't mind like a Gus Crichton, for example. He's getting to a pretty good price. I might give him one more week. I don't mind guys like Isaiah Yeo, Payne Haas. They're good options there as well. If Harry Grant comes through Origin, good. We give him one more week, but I do like him. Nathan Cleary, if he's back, I'm buying him straight away because his price, $860K, it's a good price. And I'd probably captain him straight away as well. And then we could target guys like Dylan Edwards if we wanted to too. But other than that, I think that's the list for me. Who would you rather trade, Weeks or Strange? Probably Weeks over Strange, but it depends on your team and what position you need more. Trade the one in the position that you're stronger in, basically, is my answer there. I have 0 trades, and I have Manu and Latrell. Oh, well, you are in trouble. You are in serious trouble. All right, Starboy. Let's have a look here. So, Ligma. What a team name. All right, so what do we got here? We've got... Actually, give me a second. I'm just going to refresh this because the image is coming through a little average. We'll zoom out a bit here. So make sure you guys can see. And let me know if you guys ever can't see, by the way. Oh, there's Sheep's team as well. And I'll make sure it's good for you. So let's zoom in. All right, so for this team here, Reed, okay, problem at hooker, problem at middle forward, problem in the halves, problem at wing fullback. Not a lot of restitution on the bench. 3 trades to use. Okay. You can basically fix this. So you want a hooker, a middle forward, a half, and a wing fullback, 2 wing fullbacks. I'd use all 3 trades this week, but I'm thinking ahead, right? So for your team, you have some problems that you need to trade out next week as well. So you got guys like Fletcher Sharp, KO Weeks, Brendan Piakura, Nico Hines. They're all issues, and then Ethan Strange potentially, Sean Blaw, Jamin Salmon, Jordan Rapana. These are all players going to want to be getting off pretty soon. So for this team, I'm probably going to be targeting cash outs and trying to free up cash. I think that's the play. Don't worry too much about the massive scores for this week. Focus on next week and getting those guns as quickly as you can. So if I'm you, I'm looking at going 3 trades. I'm targeting Jai Gray. I think he's good enough to be a keeper on your team. I'm targeting Jake Tungo from Parramatta. They're going to free up a lot of cash. And then the third target for you, I'm considering saying Trindle, actually. So Trindle at the price point, he's about 469K. He averages 49 without Hines. I don't mind Trindle for you as well. I get the round 20 buy is going to be tricky because you have a lot of Sharks players, but I'm thinking about that. Another option could be, if you look at the middle forward spot, you could look at a Nathan Brown if you wanted to, but I'd rather focus on keepers at that position. You could look at getting a hooker as well. So you got 619K in the bank. You get Damien Cook if you wanted to. There is some risk with Damien Cook. Keep that in mind, that he loses minutes as the year goes on. But that could be an option as well. And that's probably what I'm leaning towards, right? So you're going to pick 3 out of these 4 players. I'm going to give you 4 players. You pick 3 of them. Damien Cook, Braden Trindle, Jai Gray, or Tungo from Parramatta. Pick 3 of those guys. I would sell Nico Hines. I would sell Jamin Salmon. And I would sell probably Jordan Rapana. Right, so sell those 3 and buy 3 of the 4 players I just mentioned there. And I think you're going to be in a pretty good spot for this week. So that's what I recommend for you. I'll answer these questions here too. Let me know if you have any, by the way, Starboy as well. Hold Manu if low on trades. The Roosters have a buy in round 23, I believe it is. Manu's due back round 22. It's not a great hold. I was thinking about this before, but didn't hold up. Ligma, yeah, I'm gonna skip past that. Yeah, hold Manu if I still have him. Yeah, you could. It's just not great. I have Manu, Latrell, David Armstrong, Stewart, 0 trades. Can't wait for round 20. Also managed to survive something tonight. Yeah, I mean, look, at that stage, you're in a tough spot. So just field as many players as you can. Get the trades next week. Enjoy. When it's buy, hold, sell, it already happened. So that went up already. It's on the channel. Buy, hold, sell for round 19. Already done? Yep, exactly. So a bit of a different format this week. I just went through this week instead and just broke down all those different players. Should I trade Robson for Grant next week as well? Not next week, but maybe in the future. We'll look at that in the future, but not next week. Okay, sorry, Starboy. Your head-to-head focus, I only just saw that. So that makes this a bit different. With the head-to-head focus, I'm probably going to change my mind here. Actually, I still think they're all good trades. So head-to-head focus, they're still good trades. You want to be cashing down cheaper guys. In that case, don't worry about Damien Cook. Just get the other guys. You want to get those value players, and you want to be getting guns next week. That's the key focus for you. So still buy Tungo, Gray. Who's the other one? Tungo, Gray, and maybe Trindle. I think they're the three options. Bank heaps of cash and make your big trades next week. That's my advice. All right, Moody. Man, all right, this team is looking good. So Tommy Turbo is captain. Nathan Brown, obviously we've got the GOAT Talau. I'm actually a little insulted that you haven't captained Talau, but that's fine. You know, you can make mistakes. Everyone's entitled to. And then, yeah, strong bench here too. How many trades you got left? 24 trades remaining. Obviously, you've moved Condon, Kohler, and Shop. That's cool. Yeah, look, with 24 trades remaining, I think these trades are really good. You've upgraded your team. You've got 17 green dots. I'd say you'll outscore quite a few teams this week. So that's a great side. Looking good. All right, answered a few of these too. So appreciate the tips. Thanks for the time. No worries, man. Happy to do it. Love doing it. Love the fantasy. Do I trade Manu to Hammer? Not Hammer. Absolutely not. One of the other options that we talked about instead. When you say you're going to target many guns around 20, does that mean you'll sell as many players, so borderline keepers mid? Yeah, 100%. So if I go to my team, I won't whip it out because it's going to be annoying with the screen. I'll get it anyway. If I go to my team, I've zoomed right in for a previous video that I was making, so it's a bit dodgy looking. But Jack DeBellin is a guy I'm going to be selling next week, 100%. Then going down the list, you know, Finer is a guy I could look at selling potentially. Galvin I'll keep because of the injury to Nico. Iro is someone I'm considering selling maybe. We'll see how that goes. Then down the list, Fletcher Sharp is someone I'm looking at selling as well. Sean Bloor, I'm pretty keen to sell. He's really fallen off a cliff. You could look at selling Scott Sorensen. I'm considering that too. And then KO Weeks, someone I'm definitely going to sell. So they're the types of players I'm looking at giving the flick and buying those top guns. That's why I need the spare cash, right? Because to go KO Weeks to Nathan Cleary is going to cost me 250K, which is money I need to find somewhere. And if I do it the way I'm doing it now, I'm doing all my cash outs this week, and I have the money in the bank, I can make those big moves next week without having to mess around, and I can get 3 to 4 big guns next week. So that's the key there. I'll just answer these two. Captain Keeney this week against Parramatta. Yeah, I mean, you could do it. I'm captaining for Feeder against Parramatta as well. But Keeney is a good shout. Yeah, if you want to do that, it's a pod, risky, upside. Who's a good trade down option for Manu and DeBellin? I'd be targeting guys like Geimer in the edge back row spot, Tango, Gray, all those guys I'm talking about. Longy, what are you doing if JDB plays 65 and scores 70? That's a bit tempting. I'm probably still selling, right? His form has not been great. His minutes have been going down. His roll's going down. He has a buy in round 20 as well. So there's a lot there to say I'm going to sell him most likely. How much money do you think I should have in the bank? There's no strict amount. It's more look at the players that are those guys that you're going to get rid of anyway, and then target players who you think will score okay this week but are cheap, basically. And whatever amount of money that adds up to be is fine. You don't have to have a certain number. So I think when you target a certain number, you tend to make more mistakes and like force things in. But if I was going to give you a number to target, if you're selling Nico Hines, you want to have 500K plus. That's the key. Is Drinkwater a keeper? So there's a really interesting part of the keeper list where I think it's Tedesco and Dylan Edwards are the top two. Latrell was going to be number 3. He's out now. So guys like Reece Walsh, Jaden Campbell, Scott Drinkwater, Brian Toe, all these sorts of players, they are in that fringe keeper conversation. And Drinkwater is one of those tier 2 keepers. We're actually going to do videos, by the way, guys. So I'm going to do some videos on position by position. So I'll go like wing fullback and I'll rank the wing fullback options that are available and say, here's the tier 1 keepers. Here are the tier 2 keepers. Here are the tier 3 keepers. And sometimes it's going to make sense to hold a guy. If you've got a tier 2 keeper, you're not going to get every tier 1 keeper, right? So I'm going to do those videos for you guys before next week. So you'll have all those rankings. And when you're looking at who to target next week, I'm going to break this down so comprehensively that you can have a look. I still recommend making your own call. Don't just listen to me, but I'll give you as much information as I can on those keeper options. So you'll be well equipped next week. Key this week is just free up cash, buy green dots. That's the key. Who's going to score better till the end, Geimer or Gray? This is such a hard question because job security is a thing. I'm going to say Gray. That's my guess. I think he's got more job security, but Geimer could be good as well. It's very hard to say. Is Pat Carrigan a keeper? He's a tier 2 keeper. We'll go through that as well. I have JDB and Stefano to upgrade next week. Can't wait. Yeah, they've been a bit disappointing, haven't they? Should I hold CNK? I would sell him 4 weeks out. He's not a full-blown keeper, so let him go. Do I use trades this week? Fielding 13, but I have CNK and Hines. You could use trades if you want to do cash outs right now, but you don't have to. What do you think of Latrell to Ponga? Ponga's not playing this week, so I wouldn't do it. Plath, a good captain choice this week. Plath is playing at hooker. He could be good. It's a bit risky. I wouldn't do it, but he could pop off as well. So it's up to you. A bit risky. Let's go Jake Tungo. I think he's got a spot in Parramatta backline. He's got dual position in fantasy. Costs 234k. Looks great to me. I'm going to be buying him 100%. I have 1 trade left after making 2. I have strong 13. Should I use my last trade to cash out Latrell or do it next week? Do you have 4 guys that you want to sell next week? If you have 4 guys that you want to sell next week already, other than Latrell, then I would do that trade this week. Yeah, I like that. It's a good option. I'd be wary with him at hooker. Yeah, exactly right. That's about Plath at hooker. We're not sure what's going to happen. Garrett Johnsbury Cashy, exactly right. So you're going to go Hines to Fafita or go Ola to get more money in the bank. I think Fafita is that top option, but Olakau'atu is better value. So kind of up to you. I would go Fafita and captain him personally. Looking to trade Blore for either Garrick or Olakau'atu this week and getting the other play the following week. What is the better option this week? KPP and Feeder in edge and Sharp, JC, and Mazu in fullback. I think that your better option is to go. I mean, I like Olakau'atu better than Garrick as a player for fantasy, but I think your wing fullback spot is a bit weaker. So I'd probably target Garrick if I was you, but it's a bit of a coin toss. I've got to be completely honest because KPP is a big part of this, and also Sharp's not going to be playing next week, and Campbell is a bit injured. I think Sharp and Campbell is enough for me to think you need wing fullbacks more than you need edge back rows. So that's what I'd target. Okay, who should I trade him to then? CNK. Oh my god, I told you who. Herbie or Campbell. Probably Campbell over Herbie. Well, you lose rank if you have the main people this round, but you're fielding 11. I think 11 is going to be about even this round. You might lose a little bit of rank. Maybe 12 is about even. So I think you might drop a little bit. What do you think of Weeks to Turbo next week? I'm not a big fan of Turbo for fantasy, but a lot of people do like him. So if you want to do it, he could go on a tear, but he's not a great fantasy scorer. That's the issue with Turbo. All right, next up, we've got Vincennes. So Vincennes, let's have a look at this team. Green dots, we've got Cookie as our vice captain, rolling through, lots of green dots, bang, 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 bang. Cola's a problem. Then the bench is all clear. A lot of guys here that oh my God, actually, you've got a lot of guys who want to target. So look, it's tricky with Latrell and Manu, obviously, but Moses, Tungo, Drinkwater, Watson, not so much Howarth, but then Yo are all guys people want to have in their run home. So you've got a lot of guns here. I'm actually pretty happy with this roster. This is a very strong roster. You're in a good spot, man. In terms of trades, Hines to Olakau'atu was your one move. Yep. Okay, cool. I like it. I like it a lot. You got 265k. That's fine. Olakau'atu is a good scorer, pseudo keeper. Your side's already really strong in the forward pack because you got Watson and Yo to come in as well. So you've got Tarpanay there too. So you're basically covered from hooker, middle forward, edge. You got Galvin and you got Moses. You probably need to find a way to get Cleary. And then the back line is looking pretty strong as well. Probably need to shore up the wing fullback spot, but you've got Latrell and Manus in there, so you can make those moves next week. Yeah, I think that's a great trade for you. Okay, let's see. Keep going through. Gun 40. Here we go. Let's have a look at this team. So, Gun 40, mate, you're rising up the ranks. I like to see it. Let's see. You got Brandon Hands, Madison, Plath, Utoka Manu, Aitken, Dave Feeder. All right, we need to cover the half spot with Jerome Hughes, then Galvin, Iro, Whiten, Talangi, Sharp, and then Cole we need to cover as well. So half and wing fullback. Do we have anyone on the bench we can use? We do not, but it's a good bench again. So Fanua Blake, Katoa, Grant, Karaz, Yo, Drinkwater, Sorensen. Oh, yeah, you got a really strong bench. A lot of money to use there. I don't know how many trades you have left. I can't remember. I think you don't have any. Oh, yeah, no trades left. Okay. Well, you're not doing anything this week. But look, Fafita as captain's a good option. There's really not much you can do. I think you're in a good spot, though. So your team has a lot of players that people will want for the run home. You're not going to buy as many of those players. So you're in a really good position where you can just do your trades next week. I think you're going to, I can't say you'll rise this week, but I think you'll hold close to steady this week in the rankings. Maybe drop a little bit with this team, but you're in a pretty good spot. I'll keep rolling through here. Peter Valandi. Let's have a look at this one. So Valandi, close to the top 1,000 here now. Awesome, man. So You need a half, hooker, and either a center, edge, or mid. Okay. Cool. So the back line's covered, which is good. Center. Who do we want? Center, half. Hooker. Who got on the bench? Yep. So you got Ponga. So Jezewski is a disaster. 3 trades left. Okay, you've got different requirements for most people. So I would probably, if I was you, move Aitken to the center spot. I would trade Kohler out for Geimer. So that's my first trade. Kohler out for Geimer. Free up a bunch of cash like that. So then we need to make space for a half and a hooker. So that's the second trade I would do here is I would go Nico Hines out for Jai Gray. Frees up tons of cash. Play him at half. Covered there. And the third trade, if you do want to get a hooker as well, which I don't know if you necessarily need to, but at the same time, Brandon Smith is such a disaster that maybe you want to. You could move Brandon Smith on. You don't really have a hooker yet, right? So you got Reed Money actually. He's rock solid. But other than that, you're pretty empty at hooker. You got a few options here. One, Brandon Smith, you could go to Simpkin. Simpkin does not have great job security long term. So there's a lot of risk in that. You might need to trade him out again. It's a bit gross. Second, I'm actually playing no hooker this week, by the way, because I don't like any of the options and I want to wait for Harry Grant. Second option is you go Brandon Smith up to Damien Cook. You can also go to Little if you really want to, but I think Damien Cook's more solid than Little. Or the third option you can go to is like a Coruscant instead, and they don't really have too many buys left either. So there are your 3 options there. I'd probably be moving Brandon Smith, one of those guys. You could look at selling Jezewski instead, but he's base price, and you might as well just leave him sitting there. I think you're all clear. So Brandon Smith is my move there. So remember targeting Geimer, Jai Gray, and one of those hookers I talked about, Coruscant, Damien Cook, or Simpkin. So they're my trades for you. All right, before we go to Wicked's team, I'll answer some of these questions here as well. So let's see, where are we up to? Okay, let's keep rolling through. We've answered those ones. What do you think of Weeks to Turbo? Yeah, not a big fan of Turbo. Price drop security. I think Price is he's a young player, right? So he's had some really big moments, some really good moments, and some really average moments. So I don't think it's great job security, but I think it's good enough to stick with him for a while. Kraz for the run home or look to trade? If so, to who? I think stick to Kraz for a while, unless you want to cash him out. But Kraz is good enough at wing fullback that you could stick with him, especially with Latrell gone. There's no real top tier wing fullback number 3, so Kraz could be one of those guys. I would stick with him. Will I drop rank with 10 players? Yeah, I reckon you will. You're going to drop ranks pretty certainly with 10 players. Who should I trade in for Manu, Latrell, Weeks, and Pierre Kura next week? We'll go through that. So I'm going to do position by position, all the top keepers, rank those guys over the next week, and that'll be available for next week when you make those moves. Do I do Hines to Gray or do Hines to Maddo and move Plath to half? It's up to you. I'm probably leaning towards Hines to Gray, but Hines to Maddo is good too. Maddo's a pseudo keeper, dual position, really good. Has a bit of risk with concussion and job security. Gray is going to keep that spot for at least 4 weeks, and he's much cheaper, so you free up a bunch of cash. Totally up to you. Coin toss. I own both Maddo and Gray, so it's a bit hard for me to judge. But I'd probably, without seeing your team, prioritize Maddo. I think it's a more solid score that you're going to have in your team. Should I trade Nexo? I don't even know what that means. Hey, how's it going, man? Good to see you. And then who should I trade for JDB, Latrell, Weeks, and Pierre Kura? We'll go through that next week as well. Barry Grant, are you worried about his injury? A little bit worried about his injury, absolutely. But I just like the upside and I like his price, so I'm happy to wait on him. I've got Reed money anyway, so if he turns out bad, I just won't have 2 hookers, basically, is my plan. Then Mitchell to Geimer frees up 600. I wouldn't be... Oh, Latrell. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, I like that. Mitchell to Geimer is good. Frees up a bunch of cash. I have 13 green dots and trading Pierre Kura to Jai Gray. Would it be worth cashing down Weeks? It leaves me with 0 trades. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, do that trade. It's going to free up for next week, and you can make those big upgrades next week. Should I go Robson to Starling to free up 300k next week? I actually like this a lot next week. Don't do it this week, but for next week, yeah, it's a good trade. Grant to Ola. Then I have 1 hooker this week and Starling next week. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Brandon Hands, trade out low on trades. You can if you are covered everywhere else, but if you need him as a starter, I would keep him. Thoughts on Trindle? I like Trindle at that price. Averages 49 without Nico. So He should be the dominant half next to Atkinson. Keeney or Campbell. Oh, this is so hard. I find this so hard to read. I'm probably leaning. I'm kind of leaning towards. This is so hard. So AJ Brimson is the 18th man for the Titans. So I like Keeney's durability, but I think Campbell is ahead of him in the pecking order. So what do you do here? I'd probably be targeting Campbell out of those two, but it's a bit risky. Best players to target for next week. How much cash to stash? We'll go through that as well. So remember, guys, I'm doing those videos on each position on who you should target the ultimate final team. I'm going to do that as well, what you should be going towards. And you're going to have to pick from those lists. Hey, Longy, when did you run out of trades last year? I ran out early, so I like to use all my trades and limp to the finish line. I think it was, I can't remember exactly, but it would have been at least a few weeks before the end. Campbell, safest. Yeah, exactly right. Just injury history is the problem. Traded Hines to Guyma, have 803K in the bank. Great for next week. I like that a lot. Okay, Wicked. Let's go through your team, bro. So what you got here? You got Coruscant, Willison, Plath, Finu. We got Fafita and Aitken. Galvin and Hands sitting in there as well. Iro and Farmworth. We like that center pairing. We've got Saab and Campbell. Cole is an issue. Then, okay, plenty of guys to sell on the bench. So Nico Hines, Sam Hughes, Sean Bloor, KO Weeks, all guys we can sell. One trade left. Okay. I'm just for you thinking, let's keep it really simple. And we trade Cola out for either Jai Gray or Tungo for Parramatta. One of those two. I'd probably go Jai Gray over Tungo, but Tungo's a full-blown cash out. Frees up a lot of cash for you. I think for you, you want the cash because you've got a lot of guys here you want to trade out. So I'd maybe target Tungo instead, actually. Also, he's got that nice dual position, so he's probably the option for you. So call it a Tungo, but you can go to Jai Gray if you like him better instead. All right, keep rolling through. Sheep. What have we got, Sheep? Follow my lead. Green dots across the board. So Coruscant, Plath, Fanua, Blake. We got to fill that middle spot. Finu, Fafita, Nakora, Hughes. We have to fill that half spot. Hands, Aitken, Iro, Campbell, Talangi, Garrick. All right, wing fullbacks all good. Bench, okay, we can sell a few guys here. Unlucky with Gagai, by the way. That was a monster pod, and he just got picked from Origin out of nowhere, so that's tricky. But in the next few weeks, you can be selling Cola, Salmon, Bloor, Strange, Hines. They're probably the main guys I'd be selling if I was you. So what are we going to do? We want half, and we want a middle forward. It's got to be a middle forward. For half, two options, Trindle or Gray. For you, you've already got quite a few outside backs on your bench, actually. You're pretty well covered at center. Wing fullback's a bit light. Half, you got Hughes. We're going to be targeting Cleary next week as well if I'm you. So I'd probably go for Gray just because you have that half cover. So the trade there is going to be, let's say, Jamin Salmon to Gray. And then you need a middle forward. And for your middle forward spot, you could go right up to like a Kaloamatangi if you really want to, if you think he's going to hold that lock spot. I don't hate that. You go Nico Hines to Kaloamatangi. That's one chance. You could trade Nico Hines to a Nathan Brown, for example, as well, to go a bit cheaper. You go right down to like Moretti, who's basically a cash out, but not guaranteed to keep big minutes. They're probably the options I'd be looking at for you in that middle forward spot. Because the big thing is you're not really spending big money on this middle forward spot because next week we're going to be targeting Isaiah Yeo, Connor Watson, Payne Haas, these types of players. So for you, I'd probably be targeting those sorts of guys. But the big thing here is buying Jai Gray and then targeting one of Moretti or Nathan Brown or Tofoa Sipley, one of those types of players who's a bit cheaper and gets you a score this week, and then you can sell later on. I'll answer some of these questions here too. Gray, the best cheapie. Yeah, I like him a lot. Thoughts on KPP and Tokomanu? Hold them this week. Probably sell them next week is my advice. Why are you on Tungo overpriced though, other than the cost? It's only the cost. It's only the cost. I'm not a big price believer. I don't know. Like he could go on a bit of a tear. You're sort of tipping him because he's not a big base stats half, and he's at an awkward price in that 400s area. So if you're buying him, you kind of want him to be a pseudo keeper. Whereas Tungo is a full-blown cash out. So you get a 200K extra for next week. And 200K is what it would cost you to trade Tokomanu for Payne Haas, for example, right? So that's really valuable, that money. And I'd rather spend that on my big guns rather than more mid-ranges is my advice there. Thoughts on Matto? I love Matto. He's great. Best cheapie, Jai Gray and already have 4 out for around 20. So can I get Tungo or Guyma? I'd probably still get Tungo or Gaima and then just use trades next week to trade out some of these guys who are out for round 20. That's my advice there. You get more trades next week. When do we jump on Tungo? Now? Oh, you mean Isaac? So Parramatta Tungo this week, Penrith Tungo next week is the play. Price a grey this week. I like grey probably more than I like price. The price is just a bit more expensive, bit of an awkward price, but you can go price as well. If you think the Knights are going to go on a tear, then back price. That's an option there too. I just think it's a bit of an awkward price point. Keep saying price. All right, Dogs of War. Let's have a look at this. So Dogs of War. Great team. Let's see. The Doggies are, by the way, Doggies are on fire, aren't they? Do we have any Dogs fans in the house here? Doggies are, they're on the rise. So this team, a lot of green dots. Brendan Hands kind of average. Got White into half to cover Hines, I'm guessing. Then a lot of green dots again. Okay, you're all clear. Drinkwater to Garrick is what you need to do. Cool. 2 trades left. You're clean, man. You're clean. Drinkwater to Garrick. Without seeing the rest of your team, I would consider selling someone else instead of Drinkwater. But if you want to sell Drinkwater, that's fine too. Garrick's a good buy. So these are good trades here as well. And then I'll just answer a few of these. McInnes to the end. He's a fringe guy. I personally wouldn't do it at the buy in round 20. And he's not a full-blown keeper, but you're paying a big price. You helped me out a lot. No worries, man. I'm happy to help. Love this stuff. Next week's going to be really fun, though, when we get all those trades. And then Baden, head-to-head focus, no fixture this week. That's good to know. Okay, so considering getting Homole, Olakawatu, smarted away a week, need to get Gray and Campbell's and low wing fullbacks. Yeah, okay. So for your team then, when we're thinking about head-to-head, we're not necessarily thinking about, what this like, because there's no fixtures, right? So round 19 is irrelevant for this team. Kenny's Tree is, by the way, the funniest name. I love it. But yeah, this team is stacked, actually. So that middle forward rotation is really good. Got Nico's a bit of a problem. Got Trell, it's a bit of a problem as well. Bench, okay. Blore is a bit of an issue for you. Picker, not doing anything. Cola, okay. You could, you're a head-to-head coach, right? So 1 trade left. Hines to Dry Gray. I like Hines to Dry Gray. If you're a head coach as well, you could look at Hines to Tungo instead, but Dry Gray is probably better cover for you. So I think that's a good move for you. I think, he's going to go up in value this week too. So that's the only reason why you'd make this trade. Otherwise, you could stick it out. I like that. Hines to Dry Gray. Don't worry about it too much this week. You've got a really strong roster for next week. Key here too is 887K in the bank. That is massive money, which means next week, and we'll go through this next week properly, but you can go, all right, Cola, Piakura, Blore, Iro, Latrell if you want to. You can keep Latrell as well. But these types of players, you can sell all of them for full-blown keepers, and you'll have the money for it as well. So you're all clean. Is there anyone else that sent a team? Let's just see. It's lots of just chat. Yeah, me just saying it's going to be at 6 p.m., guys. I'm so inconsistent. All right, I'll answer some more questions just before we finish up here too. So what do I think? So shoot your questions through, by the way, guys. And I'm happy to answer those. What do you think about Loyero, Matto over him? No, Matto is better than Loyero for fantasy 100%. Worth trading Iro next round. Give me space to get Guymer or Tungo. Yeah, I think you could trade Iro next round. Iro's not a full-blown keeper, but he is very solid, so pretty good. Happy birthday. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. It was a good birthday. Great birthday, actually. Got some new golf clubs out of it, which I am excited to have arrive and give a swing. Sheep here was looking at an upgrade from Salmon to Matto. Have to cover the buy next week. Happy to go out in 4 trades. Salmon, Hines, Cola, and Hands, maybe. But happy to hear your thoughts. I think they're all good trade outs, and I think Salmon to Matto is a good move as well. So, yeah, I like that. Other option there is if you need a middle forward, then it's going to be Matto. But if you could do an edge, going to Guymer is not the worst idea too. But yeah, that's a good trade. And I'm going to be first by end of the round. Ooh, big call. Well, with that, I'm going to exit on that mic drop there from Aussie Frost King. So, and I will answer this quickly. Sorry, we do get 8 trades next round, by the way, guys. So it's 8 trades. Get excited. Aussie Frost King. He's going to be number 1 by the end of next round. Mic dropped. All right, catch you later, guys. That was Pimp My Team. Hopefully it was useful. Jump on Discord. The link is in the description for Discord. It is great. I think we're so close to 1,000 members. The game day chats are my favorite part. So during the games, it's just a bunch of fantasy coaches talking smack, having a laugh, sending Talau memes. Basically, that's that's the crux of it. So I'll see you guys there on Discord, and I'll see you guys on future videos. Peace out, guys. Thank you for the happy birthdays as well. Hope you guys have a good one.